headlines.
It has.
It's got fame, power, shocking allegations. I mean, it's a real Hollywood thriller.
Yeah, it does.
We're talking about Sean Diddy Combs.
Right.
But not for his music this time.
Not this time. No, we're actually going to be taking a deep dive into a civil lawsuit.
Oh, wow.
It's a sprawling suit, actually. It reads like a legal drama. And Diddy's right at the center of it. And the accusations involve sex trafficking and racketeering.
Wow. So we're not just talking about, like, one incident.
No.
This is big.
Huge, huge. Yeah, this is accusations that go back decades. And to be clear, this lawsuit, it's really disturbing, some of the stuff in it. It was filed by Adria English. You might know her stage name.
Oh, yeah.
Ominique. She worked in the adult film industry and as a dancer. And it was during this time that she says she became entangled in this alleged scheme that was orchestrated by Combs.
Okay, so, and obviously I want to be sensitive, to the fact that she was working in the adult film industry. But it's important to say that no matter what someone's background is,
Absolutely.
that does not justify exploitation or abuse.
100% no matter what.
In any way.
It doesn't justify it.
And the lawsuit doesn't pull any punches. It really lays out the accusations against Diddy, alleging he was at the heart of this whole operation.
Yeah, he was the head of, they allege that he was the head of this whole operation. And it's not just Diddy. We're talking multiple defendants.
Wow.
Yeah, a whole network of people that were allegedly involved. But we need to understand this case, like to really understand it. We need to break down the legal foundation of this, and specifically the use of the RACO Act.
Yeah, RC. I mean, that's serious stuff.
Very serious.
That's organized crime, the mob.
That's what I'm saying.
It feels intense to even say that.
It's a very bold legal strategy.
Yeah.
It really is. Because English's lawyers are alleging that they're alleging that he used his companies, his connections, his influence as a music mogul to essentially run a criminal enterprise.
Oh, wow.
So, you can think of it this way, like a mob boss using legitimate businesses as fronts for illegal activities.
Okay.
Right? So that's essentially what's being alleged here. But instead of casinos or construction, it's music, it's entertainment, and those infamous white parties that English describes in the suit.
Okay, hold on. We got to talk about these parties.
Oh, yeah.
Because the lawsuit paints them as
key.
They were a key.
A key part of it, yeah.
To this whole operation.
Okay.
So paint a picture for us. What were these things actually like?
Okay, so picture this. Luxurious mansions, sprawling estates in the Hamptons, yachts off the coast of Miami. We're talking Diddy's homes.
Oh, wow.
Lavish gatherings that attracted a who's who of the entertainment industry.
Wow.
English even names some big names that she was promised that she was going to meet. Donald Trump, Paris Hilton, Jay-Z.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was about creating this aura of exclusivity, power, influence.
I mean, I can see how that would be alluring, especially for someone who's trying to make it in the music industry. I mean,
especially in that industry, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But if the lawsuit is true, this atmosphere of luxury and promise, it was all a facade.
Yeah, it was a calculated facade. And this is where these accusations of grooming come in.
Yes, grooming, I mean, it's a word we hear a lot, unfortunately.
All the time, yeah, unfortunately.
In cases of abuse and exploitation.
Yeah, building trust, making someone feel dependent on you, indebted to you.
So how does that play into the allegations against Combs?
English claims that Combs and his associates used the allure of these white parties, the promise of career advancement, connections, that whole "I'll introduce you to the right people" spiel, to lure her into a situation where she felt trapped and she felt like she couldn't leave. And once you're in, it can be hard to break free.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, like you said, when you're talking about a high-pressure industry.
High stakes, yeah. And that's where the coercion comes in.
Okay.
So according to English, when those promises weren't met, that's when the threats started.
Okay.
That her career would be over before it even began, that she would be blackballed, shut out completely.
Wow.
And it wasn't just her career. She says they threatened her then-boyfriend's career, too.
Oh, wow.
Saying that, that he wouldn't work if she didn't comply with the demands.
So they basically trapped her.
Yeah, they backed her into a corner.
Made it, yeah, so she felt like she couldn't.
Right, what was she going to do?
Yeah, couldn't escape.
Exactly.
Without jeopardizing everything.
Right, and this is where it gets even more complicated because it's not just Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
English's lawsuit names other individuals that she claims were part of this enterprise.
Okay, and one of the names that really jumped out at me was Jacob Araboff, Jacob the jeweler.
Right.
I mean, this guy's designed pieces for everyone.
He's huge.
He's Hollywood royalty.
Yeah, A-list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and his involvement really speaks to how far this alleged scheme went.
Okay.
So in the lawsuit, English accuses Arabov of sexual assault,
What?
claiming that Combs directed her to engage in sexual acts with Arabov
Oh, my God.
against her will.
That's a
Horrifying.
horrifying accusation.
It is. It adds a whole other level to this case.
And then there's Vibe magazine and its parent company.
Right. Penske Media Corporation.
Which, those are like institutions within the music industry.
Institutions.
So how do they fit in?
So this is where the RQ strategy gets really interesting. So under ICO, you don't have to be the mastermind to be held accountable. The lawsuit alleges that Vibe and Penske, through their coverage of Diddy and these white parties, they knowingly benefited from the alleged enterprise.
Oh, I see.
It helped to kind of bolster this image of Combs and his influence.
So it's about connecting the dots, like showing this pattern.
Exactly, showing a pattern of behavior
Yeah.
that suggests that there was this larger system at play.
It's like, yeah, okay, so it's like you might not catch the mob boss selling drugs on the corner.
Right, exactly.
But you can show that they were
profiting, they were directing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So English's legal team, they're trying to show that even if certain individuals weren't directly involved,
Right.
in the alleged trafficking, they still played a role in the system that allowed it to flourish.
That's a bold strategy.
It is.
And it really makes you question, like, if this is true.
Yeah, how deep does it go?
How deep does it go?
That's the question I think a lot of people are asking.
Yeah, I bet.
Especially in that industry.
So we've talked about the allegations, we've talked about the players, but what about Adria English?
Right.
What about the impact on her? This is a person.
Right. This is a person. These aren't just headlines.
Yeah, and the lawsuit really, it lays out the consequences?
Yeah, devastating consequences for her
Yeah.
life. And this is what's often lost, I think, in these really high-profile cases, is that human cost. English describes battling, her mental health, hospitalization, substance abuse, breakdown of her relationship. It's a lot, and it's a good reminder that these aren't just,
Headlines.
salacious headlines. This is a real life that was impacted by this.
And English has been very clear about why she's coming forward.
Why she's doing this, yeah.
She wants to protect others
Protect others, exactly.
who might find themselves in a similar situation.
Yep. And she wants some justice.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Oh, tons, especially when you're going up against somebody as powerful as Diddy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
David and Goliath.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. I mean, you're talking about someone with, seemingly limitless resources
Limitless.
and influence.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
So what are the legal hurdles in this case? Like, what kind of odds is she up against?
So she's going to need, rock solid evidence, witnesses, documentation, anything that can back up her story.
Right.
And really establish that this enterprise existed, because remember, Diddy and these other defendants, they have teams of lawyers.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're going to scrutinize every single detail. They're going to try to poke holes in her story. They're going to challenge her credibility.
Right.
It's a classic power dynamic, right?
Yeah.
You've got one person's word against a titan of industry.
It feels like cases like this often come down to whose story is more believable.
Yeah. Who do you believe? Who's more credible? Exactly.
Especially when there's not a lot of physical evidence.
Exactly.
So hypothetically, let's say she wins this case.
Okay. Yeah.
What could that mean? What kind of precedent could that set?
Oh, it would be huge.
For Diddy and the whole entertainment industry, really.
For the industry. I mean, I think it would send shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond.
Yeah.
Because it could empower other victims to come forward.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that there's a chance for justice even against some of these really powerful people.
It could really change things.
It could change things. I think it would force a reckoning.
Yeah.
Within the music industry, for sure.
Yeah, and force people to take a closer look at, the power dynamics.
Absolutely.
And the potential for exploitation that I think is often ignored.
100%.
It's almost like this case is shining a light on a systemic issue.
It is.
And it's forcing everyone to confront some uncomfortable truths about these industries.
Right, because they prioritize profit and image over everything.
Over people.
Over people, yeah.
Over well-being.
Yeah, and this is a good example of that. I mean, this case really underscores a point. This isn't just about the entertainment industry.
Right.
This is about power imbalances that you see everywhere.
Everywhere.
In any field where somebody has influence over other people.
Yeah, it's a reminder that these things can happen
Oh, yeah.
anywhere.
Anywhere.
It can happen in any field, and it's really a call to action for all of us
It is.
to be more aware, to speak up when we see something wrong,
100%. Be an ally. Speak up.
and to create environments where everyone feels safe.
Yes. Safe, respected.
Yeah, respected and empowered.
Empowered. That's the biggest thing, feeling empowered to use your voice.
So before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. If these allegations are true,
Yeah.
how many other people are out there
That's the question.
who maybe wanted to come forward or
Right, who felt like they couldn't.
didn't feel like they could? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the heartbreaking part.
It's heartbreaking, and it makes you.
It makes you wonder, how often does this happen?
Yeah. So, I don't know, it's a lot. This deep dive has been a journey
It has
into like the dark side of fame and power.
the underbelly.
It's the underbelly. Yeah. And the complexities of exploitation and the courage it takes to speak out, like we were saying,
Oh, immense courage.
and the fight for justice that's still ongoing.
It's still going.
So, this story's not over, but
Not even close.
it's a reminder that behind the headlines and the glamour, there are real people
Real people.
who are affected.
And it's our job to listen to those people,
To listen.
to learn, and to make sure that those voices aren't silenced.
This has been The Deep Dive, leaving you with a lot to think about. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay curious.